in terms of being swift enough, not on point.
Okay.
Right? And the second aspect to this is the handling, right? The previous gen Swift genuinely surprised me with the kind of front end it had.
Right.
It was so pointy.
Hmm.
It was a genuine delight, right?
Right.
That's why when we've spoken about it in the past, I've said that it's a car that completely, I love it because of that, right? This car isn't like that.
Okay.
It feels more clean in the way it behaves. The older one had that slightly sharpish feel to it. You could actually pivot that car, which means rotate it a bit, just turn it a bit using the brakes also. Just steer a little bit, get on the brakes, it would turn, right? It was very, very good, very enjoyable because of it. This car doesn't do any of that. It's a clean car.
So the responses are predictable, but you're not going to get super excited driving this car. Okay.
So anybody driving even on your typical state highways, which are not perfectly smooth and all, and we did some of that as well, at 100, 120, undulating surfaces, sharper corners, this car won't worry you, right? And the real beauty about this car now is the updated suspension.
Okay.
Right? The chassis has been made stiffer, and now it gets new springs, dampers, all of that. In fact, I was pleasantly surprised. You know, like even in the Ignis, Swift, they had this one common characteristic, even the Desire, which was if you go over sharper bumps, you'd feel that tuck, like that when there's a high deflection, you'd feel that. Rest of the time it would be fine, but every now and then you'd get that tuck, tuck, gone. So much so that I, in my notes, wrote that this feels SUV-like.
Oh.
You know the road to Nandi Hills, that train crossing, the speed breakers before and after that?
Yeah.
First time I went over it, went a little carefully.
Yeah.
Next time, just rolled over them. Didn't brake quick. I said, dekhte hain. Right? What happens? Does it ground out?
Correct.
Does it hit the stops? Nothing.
At least it didn't let you know.
Nothing. I'm telling you, it was clean.
Very nice.
That is for me a highlight on what.
Did they tell you how they achieved that?
So they just said that basically new suspension, so new dampers, tuning is different.
Okay.
Interestingly, if you're an existing Swift owner, you might want to try this out on your Swift. I mean, the third gen Swift, because they said the hard points are the same. So there's no difference.
So it should be retrofittable.
So yeah.
So, okay, that's a great point. So if you have an old Swift and you're looking at a suspension change anyway, maybe get the dampers from the new car.
I'm actually wondering, can they be fitted onto the Ignis somehow? Because the Ignis definitely could do with this and it would be beautiful, man.
It's worth exploring.
Yeah, it would be awesome. So that's a definite highlight. So two takeaways for buyers here definitely are, if you are looking for a sporty and fun to drive Swift, buy the previous gen if you can still get your hands on it.
Right.
And if you're an existing Swift owner and are looking to get your suspension upgraded or just need to change it out, try and get the new suspension units from the new Swift.
Got it.
Right. So other improvements, the clutch action is light. They have a new hydraulic unit because this 3-cylinder more torquey. So all of that. The steering feels smoother.
Okay.
Right? Is it feelsome?
No.
Will it get you involved? No.
Okay.
But it works. It's clean. Right? So it's a more disconnected but a more complete car.
Got it. Yeah, right? It's more of a family car than it used to be.
Yeah.
Purely.
So that is why I came away from this thinking, okay, I see what's happening. Like you said, right? Up front, that was on point, that this is meant for the masses.
Yeah.
Will the masses enjoy this? Like, you know, the folks who used to enjoy the DDIS grunt, the diesel, they will appreciate that pull that this engine has more than the previous one. But is it as smooth? Does it feel as sophisticated? Not to me.
Got it.
Right? There is a sense of disconnect even on the throttle. It's a little bit slower. Right? So these are all the factors that
So it's a shrewd product. But the guys who look at the Swift as a sporty or hatchback, they're not going to be super happy with this update.
No.
Okay.
Right? Because for me, as much as I'm attached to the Swift, right? Especially, and again, because of the previous gen, does this car make me look at the Swift in the same manner? No, it doesn't.
No, got it.
Right?
Yeah.
It makes me look at the previous one with more fondness now.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not as polished. It's not as well packaged. Right?
Yeah.
But I look at that
But I
and
think
say,
in the recent few MotorInc firsts, we've brought up this kind of points for other machines too, where manufacturers becoming more and more mass friendly starts to rob the same product of the original character, the original values, the original things that surprised us, the things that drew us to these products. So I suppose this is going to happen to us a lot until this transition is complete, and then we can see competent or fresher new platforms come out.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, I understand it. I don't like it. I understand it.
Yeah, I know. Same here. I mean, like, as much as I would like to say this is not how it should be done and all of that kind of stuff, I get it. I mean, for so many
Yeah.
people, just driving a Swift, a car like this with this kind of performance is going to feel special, and
Right.
I get it.
Okay.
And given all the features and everything and all added on in terms of safety, I would say definitely it is feeling more complete.
That is a clip from MotorInc. And what that means is if you'd like to see more of these, you can do two things. One is stay on this channel, subscribe and watch more, or you can come to the main MotorInc channel where you'll find a much longer video that discusses this idea in a lot more detail.